Now, my son, he's 22 years old. Weekend, he goes to George Street every week. So I tell my son, please come home early, don't drink and drive, don't hang out with the wrong crowd. It's amazing. The same word that my mom said to me, I said to my son. And you know what Edwin said? That's my son saying, yes, Dad. You know the way he sounded like that. Doesn't mean it. But I put these little thoughts into him. Maybe negative, but eventually will become positive thoughts. Last Christmas, with a little social, my son gathered some friends in the house. Some friends drank before they came to my house. I was upstairs. I didn't mix with them. I'm too old. At 10 o'clock, one of the boys' girlfriend called. Come and pick me up. That boy, well, he's over 18. He was already drunk before he came into my house. He was loaded. And he wanted to pick up his girlfriend down the street, maybe 10 minutes away. My son and the other friends told him, you cannot drive. But he wouldn't listen. That young boy went out, took the car keys, and drove away. Now, as soon as that boy left the house, my son, he called the police. He called the police saying that I knew a driver by this license plate going to this place, moving from along Forest Road from point A to point B. If you go to find him, you'll find he is really drunk. I don't know what happened, but Dad told me that my positive intentions or negative thoughts that put into his brain worked. What my mom told me, I told my son. And finally, he got the message. From that moment, I never have to worry. I know he will never drink and drive. He will never sit in the car with a drunk driver. Now, I'll tell you another story. There was this farmer. He was poor and lived by himself. And he had a son, 10-year-old son, and they could not buy anything else. They worked hard in their farm all day. So this day, as usual, the father was working, and suddenly he heard a scream. He heard in the distance, in the wetland, in the bog, there was this young boy screaming for help. That's not the voice from his son. He ran over and looked. There was this boy drowning, sucked into the bog. And he knew he had to do something. So he dropped his working tools. He went home, took a rope, and tied himself to a tree. Tied the tree up, and then tied himself on the other end. And he walked and waded himself into the wetland and threw the rope at the boy. If he was 2 minutes late, just 2 minutes late, the boy would have sunk right into the bog and died. He saved this boy. And the boy was very, very grateful. He thanked the farmer and he left. He ran back into the wilderness. And the farmer didn't think about this for 2 days. On the third day, there was a wealthy, a beautiful carriage coming along, and down came a gentleman, wealthy-looking gentleman, must be from a wealthy family. He came down and said to the farmer, "Sir, did you know that you have saved my son's life 2 days ago? If you didn't save him, I wouldn't know where he was gone. I could not find him, and he's actually dead in the bog there, buried under the mud. I would thank very much for your help and kindness. Is there anything I can help you?" The farmer said, "I'm really happy. My son and I live happily here, and we are very contented." But the gentleman said, "I have money. I can provide you with things." But the farmer said, I'm okay, thank you. Then the little boy came out. He would look tired, and he was dirty. And that gave the gentleman, the wealthy man, an idea. He said, let's make a deal. I bet you have no money, right? Yeah, we're happy, we're poor, but happy. I'm going to give you or provide your son with education. Whatever school my son goes to, I'll make sure he goes into the same school. Whatever I provide for my son, I'll return the same to your son. And the farmer said, if I couldn't afford a good education for my son, this is the time. So he agreed with that deal. And that little young farmer boy, since then, got a good education. He went to the best college because the other gentleman was very wealthy. He actually went into the medical school in London. Later on, he became Dr. Fleming, Alexander Fleming. If anybody knows the name, he was the guy who discovered penicillin. And the little boy who almost got sunk into the bog, his name was Sir Winston Churchill. When Winston Churchill was about 50 years old, he had a bad illness. He caught pneumonia. Guess what saved him? Dr. Fleming, penicillin. So what did this story tell you? If you do good deeds, you save the farmer saved the boy. The boy's father rewarded the farmer's boy by giving him education. And with education, the boy saved the wealthy man's son again. So good things do come not just once. They add together. Small positive actions can lead to big events. This is what I call positive karma. Now, in real life is always full of surprises. But choice is yours. Karma can be positive or negative, depending how you choose it. You are the architect. You are the architect that designed your destiny. To me, as a parent, I would make sure my son, when he grew up, when he was younger, that he will be obedient, he will be respectful, will be honest. Honesty is the best policy. These things will make sure that he will lead a good path. Because what goes around comes around. And so Winston Churchill once said, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. And tonight, before I finish the speech, I want you to go home, take a pause, and think. Think, what have you missed doing in the past? Maybe an apology to your grandparents. Maybe encouragement to your children. Maybe just a pat on the shoulder to your colleague. Maybe you forgot to buy something for your best loved person. Maybe you forgot to buy a present for your teacher last year, for your son's teacher. Little positive things will go a long way, because little positive thoughts will lead into positive actions, and that will turn into big things. Because whatever goes around comes around. Thank you.